Hey everyone, this is Sergeant Danger Cow from the British Sergeant's Mess. Welcome to episode 9 of Chewing the Cud. This week I want to talk very briefly about one of the greatest additions to the game since BF3. On a par for me with the addition of the triage, only that we haven't seen that added in since the new patch. What we have seen added in is this. So this is in retail, not in CTE. This is in the game you're playing normally. And this is the ability to tweak the aim down sights adjustment, what they are calling the soldier zoom sensitivity. What does that mean? What is it? Well, let's have a look. So here we are in the options and we have our controls open and we've got my soldier mouse sensitivity at 5%. Down at the bottom though, there is the soldier zoom sensitivity. Now this relates to your aiming down sights, as I've said. It's relative to your soldier mouse sensitivity, which for me is 5%, as I said. So soldier zoom sensitivity at 100% means that when I am tracking out of sights, when I go into sights, it will feel exactly the same. And this is such a massive boon. I mean, it means you don't have to suffer that thing of when it used to be in the game when you were shooting at a target and you would bring your sights up and the game would slow your sights down, which would throw you off, and it would mean that you would miss or the first few shots would be off and all the rest of it. And that was hugely frustrating, particularly when you think that, when do you ever do that in real life? I mean, I play pigeon shoot and I have never found a target, looked up through my sights and then slowed down. It just doesn't happen. You have to move everything at the same pace when you've acquired a target. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flick this soldier zoom sensitivity down to 50% and you can see what I mean. So now I'm at soldier zoom sensitivity of, soldier mouse sensitivity of 5% and zoom sensitivity is 50%, which means that when I go into sight it will feel like my sensitivity has gone down to 2.5. So here we go, so I'm tracking these guys here, I'm leading them a little bit, go in there and suddenly you can immediately see what's happened is that just by turning up into sights, I'm tracking them, and suddenly I'm behind him, which means I then have to move my mouse further and faster across the mat to get back onto target. But what it also means is that when I exit and I'm moving here, I go well off target, which again throws you off, particularly if you've got two people close next to each other and you want to reload or whatever. It throws you off completely, as I say. So you slow down on when you're zooming in, okay, and when you track along you have to move your mouse faster across. This is what used to happen. So you have to move your mouse faster across the table to get to where your target is. And then when you zoom out again and exit your zoom, I mean, look how far across I was. So that shows you how it used to be. I mean, that's an extreme example. It's 50%. I think it was probably more like 80% by default before they introduced this. So let's look at 100% and see what the difference is. So now we've moved it up to 100%. So my soldier mouse is 5 and my soldier zoom is 100, which means that my soldier zoom is 100% of 5, i.e. 5, for those of you who failed math. So here we go, I've got these guys in my sights, I'm just tracking them along, and I've just zoomed in, and you see immediately the difference. There was no jumping behind the target there, it was done and dusted and he was down, and that is the difference between what they have given us and what used to be. And that is such a massive, I mean, I'm out tracking him, but I don't have to adjust my speed across my table to make sure that I get my target, which means also that when I exit I'm not that far ahead either. It's just such a difference, and I think it's one of the greatest, if not the greatest addition to the game since BF3 came out, and I think it will, for me it rivals the triage system because it's part of the gameplay which is more core to everyone's enjoyment of the game rather than the triage, which is just for those who want to play medic. Anyway, that's it today. I mean, it just makes such a difference. I mean, not having to worry about when you're acquiring and leading and tracking an object, it makes it so much easier. And if you lose the target, you just move at the same rate. And if the target is run behind, a building or whatever, you just move your mouse at the same rate. And if he pops out the other side, you're not going to have lost him. Obviously, it doesn't always happen, but if they come out the other side, you know because you've moved your mouse at the same rate across the way after you've come out of sight, you're not going to have lost him. And I think that is such a massive, massive improvement in the realism of the game. Anyway, very quick video this week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the battlefield. Ta-ta.